Hey guys, today I was going to make kind of a devlog slash demo of some of the new open world stuff. So this is the sect outpost where you spawn in, and the idea is sort of that the tower entrance is on the other side of that wall. These are turrets that defend the outpost, and they'll shoot NPCs if you kite any over here. They have a pretty long range. So for newer players, you can, if you get overwhelmed, you can kind of kite back to the outpost and get some help. This map is partially done. I'm playing on the dev build, so I'm like a patch ahead of what's up on the playtest build. So you can see off in the distance there, that's a new Othari camp. There's going to be an Othari castle a little further off, and that's going to be kind of the second main dungeon area in this map, aside from the mines, which is what I'm going to show today. The Othari castle's not done yet, but I'm working on just kind of the look and feel of it. So that's what's over there. We can check it out in a bit. So this area, is just kind of pretty beginner mobs. I'll kite one back so we can see the turret deal with this. So I wanted to run through some of the major changes basically since the last playtest and kind of how I think things are shaping up. So one, combat change-wise, I changed the default riposte damage reduction to 75%. That was a big one. So that makes 1v2, before it was 50%. So that makes 1v2 quite a bit easier. It makes like spamming into someone who's riposting a lot less viable. I think it was a good change overall. Then the other big one was I made it so that when you're not riposting, you keep half of your attack charge when you're fainting, whereas before I used to keep 0. So if I charge an attack and then faint, you can see I still have significant charge and do a fair amount of damage. I have a medium sword here, and I grab some of my keys so we can see some of the new keyed chest and keyed doors type functionality. So you can see in this part of the map, PvP is off and this is no loot. So this is kind of like a beginner area. I wanted to give people who are new a way where there was no real time pressure, no real PvP pressure, and they could learn the kind of game and the core mechanics in a low pressure setting, while still having the open world have plenty of challenging content. And then, as I'm going to show here in a little bit, the open world also has portals into the tower. So the way you enter the tower in the future is going to be you come here first and you run, to a portal that will take you to varying parts of the tower. This is one of the new NPCs. They like jump off a cliff and attack you. They're fairly easy. They're an easy variation of the scavengers in the ice cave. I don't have good gear on the dev server, so I'm kind of using a mid sword. Some of the stuff we're going to look at is quite hard, so I might actually try to loot some chests along the way to awaken my sword a little bit. There's one over here. So in this, kind of playthrough, I'm not going to show the secrets because I don't want to spoil them, but I'll show some of the obvious stuff. So this is one of the new NPC types, is these skeletons, and they have 3 variations. This is the easiest one, the miner. He fights with a pickaxe. The harder variation of these guys, both the medium and the hard ones, do very fast riposte A-cells and are quite threatening that way. And the reason for that is one of the other combat changes that I've been pondering and haven't pulled the trigger on yet is I've been debating making the riposte fainting work the same way, where you lose half your attack charge. So right now, if I block an attack when I'm riposting, it's still fully charged. I think that maybe it would be better for the game if the way fainting worked was just the same, riposting or not, and you lose half your charge. It doesn't actually cost you as much charge as you think because, let me not riposte for a second. Oh, sorry. Run away and not riposte. You start charging during windup. So if I faint by the time I'm actually fully in windup, I'm not at half charge. I'm at like more like 75% charge. It depends on the charge speed of your weapon. So changing it would be a bit of a nerf to the slower charge weapons. With the faster charge weapons, basically what that change would do, it would make riposte A cells where you just immediately attack off a riposte a little stronger, and make ripostes where you do multiple feints a little weaker, and particularly if you're doing kind of like spammy feints, then you can, so you know, if I just do one strong feint, or even a few where I'm taking my time in between, you can see I maintain most of my charge. But if I'm just like mashing feint, I lose it all. So it would nerf those kind of quick multi-feints. I think that would probably be good for the game. There are a few kind of quick multi-feints that are more like morphing to hide your animation, where it's like up and to right, kind of as like a one feint. So I'm not 100% sure how I think about it. I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but that's something I'm strongly considering. And because that would make riposte A cells more central to the game, I guess, I wanted to make an NPC that really blasts you with riposte A cells, both to help people learn to do it well, and also just to see how that feels. When I fight, I tend to do a lot of riposte A cells, and I think it's healthy for the game when just the fastest possible riposte is strong, because that's kind of the basis of the rest of your offense. If you're not actually threatening damage with your riposte A cell, then your opponent doesn't even really react to your first feint because they know you're not going to swing, if that makes sense. So this is a... I don't know my range very well with this sword from third person. This is a new type of spawn point that has the statues that keep spawning enemies until you actually kill the statue. Their spawn rate does slow down over time, so you don't have to all in off on the statue immediately, just cleaning out the ads. You are kind of making progress. But yeah, I already made, two pretty major combat changes with the feint change, which I think was definitely good. I'm really happy with that. And the riposte damage reduction change. But I am considering that third one of also changing riposte feints. I won't do more than those before the next playtest, because I want to really have a chance to get a bunch of feedback. The riposte damage reduction really affected 1v2 for sure. Like, I feel like someone really good like Titus is like a favorite versus me and any partner I have at this point. 1v2 can be difficult. But I think it's healthy. I think people are going to have to adjust a little bit to be more careful not to give ripostes, which will be good for the game. So these statues are fairly tanky. I don't want killing them to be tedious, but no, I need to. That's floating a tiny bit. Need to fix that. I wanted to give people a PvE way to practice comboing versus a stationary opponent that kind of doesn't. Some people are, when they're new, just have a hard time doing this. So this just gives you some reps of doing that. And obviously if you can't do this, you're not going to be comboing successfully in a fight. So one of the other changes is the chests all have tiers. So there's 3 lights here, and they can have 0 to 3 lit. So there's 4 tiers, and the higher tiers have better loot. That's slightly worse than what I have. So before, the chest loot quality was just based on which zone of the dungeon it was in and how long it had been since it had been looted, which is kind of a proxy for like how hard to find it is. Now it is both of those things, how long it's been since it's looted, and the tier based on the number of lights, but what zone you find it in doesn't matter. I think that's a little more balanced because some of the chests are pretty obvious and some are like incredibly hard to find. So now I can tag those really hard to find ones as the highest tier chests, or some just are next to a boss. Those always have better loot as well. Alright, so this is one of the new areas. This is the Forsaken Chapel. There is a mini boss in there. Getting to him is a secret and fairly tricky. The door is barred off, so I won't actually give away how to do it. But you can see he's in there with 2 chests and a secret. There is a red portal that goes straight to the ice cave, so this would be one of the paths in the tower. Would be the route we just took. The mobs in this area are a little tougher, so I'll show one of the skeletons that does the really fast riposte ASLs in a second. Mistake there. So one of the other changes I made was to frost armor, which this guy's using. So now when you get hit and your frost armor is active, you get a riposte and it instantly ends. So you can do very fast riposte ASLs out of frost armor. I'm not really used to playing with it yet, so I don't use it well. But I think it has potential to be strong, and before I felt like it was definitely the worst dodge. I think this is one of the mid-tier skeletons. Yeah, so this is a mid-tier one. So he's still kind of dangerous. I'll try and show. Let me feed him a riposte, and you can see. So he fainted that one. Fainted that one. Yeah. Oops. Give him one more. That was a pretty fast ASL, but it's not as... I'll wait and summon one of the harder ones, because these guys are tuned not to do it too much, because it's quite difficult when they do it well. I think those guys are kind of on par with like a Lost Soul in terms of difficulty. So, let's see, I know there's a hard one around here somewhere. One of the other new features is these destructible vases, so you can hide. So find them, and then levers that open doors is also new. Grab this chest. Here's a hard one. Alright, so yeah. He doesn't block very well. Got soul on that today. But his riposte ASLs come out really fast, especially if he does the overhead or the down right when he gets like a good body position. You can see it's quite difficult to block. He uses a new, making them really riposte ASL well is fairly tricky from a code perspective because they need to align their footwork and their swing direction and their head and their like camera aim as well. And they don't cheat, they do exactly what a human would do. So that's a new routine that some of the other NPCs also use to some degree. The embossed uses it. The destructible vases and barrels and stuff have a chance to drop loot. One of the other additions I made was I kind of made the loot system more fancy. So before there was a loot table where it would be like this particular NPC has this loot table. Now they can have a custom loot table based on the region they're in. So skeleton in the Forsaken Chapel area can have a different one than a skeleton in a different area. I'm going to go over and show the ruins real quick, and then we'll go into the mines and use our key. So this whole area is still PvP enabled, but the cutoff is pretty close to here. I think it's kind of at the bottom of this mountain. There's a chest up there. You can just barely see the light. There's a fair amount of chests kind of parkouring up into these ruins, and there's some hidden jump pads and stuff. That's another tower entrance. That one goes to tier 1. this ruins area is the main way to get ruins keys. People were saying the drop rate felt a little low, so I did raise it. That'll be in Friday's patch. I don't have combo parry on this server, which is really messing with me. I'm used to having that. I don't have many abilities locked. So there is a chest up there, and then inside the well is a secret. It's pretty tricky to figure out how to get in there. I won't give that away. These guys were mostly Forsaken Warriors, but I felt like the area was too punishing, so I nerfed a fair amount of them to be miners. You can see he riposted me like very quick out of that frost armor there. The frost armor is like a lot more threatening now. And it feels a lot better to use, so I use it too early. I might be dying here. Jesus. No. Dead. Oh, and I didn't take the respawn. So there is a spawn point near here. I didn't grab it, so I'll have to do a little bit of running. That's okay, I'll show off some other parts of the map while we do it. So yeah, I've only added 2 respawns so far. One's there, which we grabbed, and then one is over by the cliff wall. But we'll go this way and grab that respawn. My loot will stay for 30 minutes, so we got plenty of time. No one else is on the server to come loot me. And I'll show one of the parkour chests, or not really parkour, just you find a jump pad. But that'll get us a little tower time as well. So there's a jump pad tucked away in here. And then I tried to give hints as to where the parkour is. If you see these little wooden planks attached to a building, I'm terrible. There's a good chance that there's parkour nearby. I'm so bad. Oh my god. I'll do one more go before I stop embarrassing myself. Well, you get up there. Trust me, it's actually really easy. I don't know. I can't parkour on camera, apparently. So you can see the spawn over there, and then the entrance to the mines is right there. And the ruins are right behind that. So we will go ahead and grab the bindstone. I'll show one of the guys who jumps off the cliff again, because I really like it, but I feel like there's like one, it's missing just something. I think maybe like a visual effect when they land or something. But I really like the fallen rocks. I really like the shout they do. Maybe I should increase their gravity so they fall a little faster. I'm not sure. It's close to being awesome. These guys aren't very threatening, but I'm going to have the Othari hunters do it also, so that'll be fairly terrifying when you hear one of those guys jumping out on top of you. Alright, let's go grab our loot. One other change, the NPCs have out of combat health regen now. It's quite slow, but we took a while to get back here, so I suspect that everyone will be back to full. Oh, no, he's only still ticking up. I guess he was super low. The more I play with Colossal, the better I like it. It's the green buff at the top left. It makes it so your kicks drain 20 health from your opponent. And I don't know, that gives you like just a nice little bit of sustain. Which when you're staying out on the map for a long time, just the kind of chip damage that you take, it's enough to negate most of it. I think it's really strong. All right. Ooh, more. Yeah, the Skelly Miners have a chance to drop the salt ore, which is nice to get. Yeah, you can see like that's a really strong, like his body movement is really strong in those riposts. He like really steps into it and hits you with a very early part of the swing. The NPCs do, the harder ones do like know to play around the frost armor, so if you use it too early, they'll hold their attack and charge up and hit you. That crystal spawned inside me, I think. Need to fix that. Alright, so this is one of the new lock chests. You can see I have a forged key so I can open it. If you didn't have a key, it just tells you need to get one. And they have pretty good loot. Oh my god. That's like super high roll. I think that might be the highest damage one I've ever gotten. These have such short range though, it takes some getting used to. You have to be like, it's like a two-handed dagger. You have to be like on top of the opponent, so I might mess up a lot if I go with it. But yeah, the damage is good. There's something that feels good about killing guys with a kick too. That's the other reason I like this ability. Alright, let's go into the mines. So much damage. I don't even have like any blessings, like it's not awakened, it's not upgraded. Graphics wise, I did make one more fairly noticeable performance improvement. There was issue with the the particle effects on the turrets. It was actually kind of expensive. So fixing that got like 10 or 20 more FPS. Right now I have Lumen and I've got most medium settings, I think medium settings plus Lumen. So it's, before I turned on OBS I was at like 140 or 150 and now a little less obviously. I've never tried mining with this tiny thing. Not so bad. Yeah, I kind of actually like it. Clean. Alright, so there's a secret up there. I won't show how to get that. But I will show how to get by this gate. Puzzle to get that chest there. I won't show that one either. We don't need the fountain, I guess, for full. Trap. So this is a new, easier version of the basalt golem. Just less weak spots. Doesn't combo as much, less health. Easier across the board. Might as well make one of these while we're... Oh well, I got a greater upgrade stone from that keyed chest and a ton of essence. I didn't even notice how good my loot was. Yeah, the keyed chests are pretty killer. Those golems, they also can spawn out of like rock piles there, so they can kind of surprise you. I really like the approach of kind of using NPCs as traps. I think it's nice to have a mix of NPCs that are statically there, but also ones that spawn in reaction to something. So I've been trying to make more, the skeletons that come out of bone piles, the golems that come out of rock piles, the guys that jump off of cliffs, stuff like that. So you can see, if you look closely, you can see he has a little bit of basalt ore. You can spot him from a distance, but if you're not paying close attention, he'll surprise you. Things are so much easier with this sword. One kind of little detail that I think felt good is I made it so you can see the little blue fire in the skeletons. It actually indicates their health, so you can see as I chunk them down, their fire gets less tall, so when they're full health it's like filling their entire torso, and when they're on a sliver of health it's just a tiny flame right at their belly button. I like to try and have little stuff like that that's kind of extra visual indicators. Alright, grab our cube, and we'll continue on. I think I killed that one with my absorption. Alright, next fight I'm going to try and use my frost armor a bunch and see if I can get some good riposts off it. cooldown resets if you block an attack. You can see he fainted on me. So if someone's just spamming attacks at you, you can just like frost armor a post. But against people who are pretty careful, you need to time it after they've already released, which I actually did properly there, but it was on cooldown, so I didn't get anything. So I'm going to change that white portal to a red portal because I added a new ability that is recall. So I won't actually cast it, but you do that and you go back to the sex outpost and then you can take a white portal. So I'm not going to have white portals in the open world so much. It's a 15-second channel, which I feel like is long enough. I'm just going to let you use recall. That won't be the case in the tower. So I'll make this a red portal that goes probably, I'm thinking, to tier 2. There's also infuser and a item portal back here. There's some chests and secrets hidden around. But for this, we'll use our Ruins key to open the door. Alright, so grab the bindstone, and there's a blessing for us. And so back here, there's a new ore type, and then there is a boss fight. And I'll try and show both here. There's some pretty sneaky chests as well. I won't show those. That was a faster post for sure. Get them to kill each other. A lot of friendly fire on their part there, but I took quite a lot of damage. It's gonna make this tough. Got quite a few pots. Alright, so this area is the new ore, Sunfire, and it will be used to craft superior upgrade stones. The actual crafting for it is not in game yet, but you can start accumulating the ore. God, so slow. Kind of like using the super short sword, but you have to be like really aggressive with stepping into your attacks. You can't play from distance. Got him. Oh, I got Sunfire Aura because I hit the aura with my follow through. Alright, so I won't actually pause to mine that, just wanted to show it. There's a fair amount back there, but it has a slow respawn timer. Chug. Alright, I'm going to use my buff to hopefully gain some HP back. And I think I'm going to switch to first person so I block a little better. I'm just not as good in third. God, I'm so bad. That would have hit if I wasn't using this tiny sword. Keep chugging. The bindstone's right here, so if we die, it's not the end of the world. Or it's a little more late. I did not mean to spawn two of them. That was a mistake. It's okay. I got this. No, I don't got this. Skill issue. Alright, well, it's a pretty quick corpse run, and I think we can kill those two with our Warren Blade. They're both pretty low. Maybe not. No. I just jumped right out of the trap. Oh my god, I'm so bad. Alright. I like the frost armor, but I'm used to the dodge moving me back, so I keep expecting to not be in the position that I'm in when I use it. I need to practice more. I need to land some kicks too, because my weapon does so little damage. The extra kick damage will add up. The other one's actually looking the wrong way, so we can take them out one at a time. There we go. Okay, let's go. Alright, so this is the boss room. I haven't done the decor for it. I just put the fight in so we can test the difficulty of it. Because the decor is not in, the lighting's not good either, so I'm gonna up my gamma a bit just to be able to see a little better. All right. So it randomly spawns a number of these guys depending on how many people you are. These are a new NPC Forsaken Champions. There's 3 different variations of them, and they all have different builds. And they use their spells pretty well, so you can see that he tried to shatter me. Yeah, I might just get farmed here. Farmed. Alright, I'm running out of time here, but I'll give that one more go. Oh, we still got 3 minutes. See how much we have to no respawns yet. I think we can just go back. He respawned like as I was sprinting by. Perfect. Alright, then this might be my last boss attempts here. So the 2 we got, there's a tankier one that we didn't get that is actually probably the one I fear most. Oh, did the door... Looks like it opened server side but not client side. That's a bug with the boss fight for sure. The fight did not reset properly. Alright, well, something for me to work on. I haven't actually had a chance to test this many times, so I only did it once or twice. See if it lets us do it again. It does. Alright, so this is the tankier one. He uses chill. And then he has a bigger, slower weapon, but he does a lot of damage. Oh, lag. I think it did not reset properly. Alright. Well, that was a little better. I will grab my gear and show the recall ability and call this one a wrap if we can. It's going to be a little tight for time. Achievement. The final fury is actually kind of helping me because I need the life steal. Alright, we're only going to spawn one of these at a time. Ah, he swung and missed me. No. Alright, well, failure, but a valiant effort. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this was entertaining. See you next time.